is Monday morning. Let's go ahead and get our first workout of the week knocked out. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get some fuel and get ready. We got some lazy oats here for our pre-workout meal, some blueberries and raspberries. If you want the recipe to this, check the link up on the corner. Today we're doing 5.5 easy for our marathon planning. Yesterday I did 16, so this is just a recovery run. For those of you interested, the 16 mile was a time trial. So the first 5 was a warm-up pace, 7.5 at about a 7:20 mile, and then 3.5 just conversational, slow pace. So we're definitely trying to keep it easy and not burn out too quick early in the week. I'm gonna eat this and then we're gonna get ready. I'll show you what my warm-ups are and kind of how I go about that, and then we'll hit the run. All right, the oats are down. We're just gonna roll out a little bit before we hit our actual warm-ups. Usually for my warm-ups, I'll use the Rona app to walk through the warm-ups that they provide. And that's what I'm using for my marathon training as well. As far as rolling out goes, I don't know if it's like significant in terms of its impact, but it feels good. If I'm being 100% honest though, just like regular movement would be perfectly fine to get that blood flow. And then one last movement that I'll do is I'll take these bands, because I've had some IT band issues, and you want it to be pretty tight. So this is like a quad glute band thing, but you want it to be pretty heavy, and just do some side steps. Keeping the band like right above the knee or right underneath of it, and just do like 10 steps on each side. All right, I'm gonna get some shorts on and then we're gonna go hit this run and knock out our first workout of the week.
I'm a mile in. I was gonna use the drone today, but it's too dark out. So we're just gonna keep it rocking. Feeling pretty good. Probably hitting like a 9-minute mile today. Keep you updated here in a minute.
My morning running's done, and I've got to be honest, coming up on mile 4, I don't know what it was, but I had to take a dump so bad. Like clenching for dear life on the last 1.5 miles, just trying to get through 5.5 miles. And then the last half mile, I walked probably like 2/3 of it. And I tried to run as much as I could, but I literally got to the point where I was like, I'm gonna end up having to replace my pants. So overall, not great, but the times weren't terrible. It was like a 9:27. I'll put the times right here, but it's like a 9:27 mile, so it's fine for a recovery day. And at least it didn't happen on like a tempo session or something like that. Usually I would try to use the bathroom before going on a run, but because it was a light run, I was like, oh, it's no big deal. I'll knock this out real quick and it's not, whatever. I thought it was gonna be fine. It wasn't. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and eat our second meal of the day. I'm gonna make some eggs as well as some mushrooms, spinach, kiwi, strawberries. You've seen the thing before if you've watched the full days of eating. And then we'll pick up tomorrow on our next set of workouts. All right, it is Tuesday, day 2, and we've got 2 workouts today. But before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and eat a bowl of these lazy oats. We've got raspberries and blueberries, no surprises, as well as the strawberry flavored Oikos Greek yogurt. Today's workouts are going to be a lower body workout as well as a 5K that's not a part of marathon running. This is just to keep my running streak alive. So the pacing is kind of up to me, and we're going to go as fast as I want to go. As far as the leg workout goes, we'll go ahead and film that in the garage. And I'll kind of take you through a couple of my favorite movements. I don't know if we'll go through the entire workout itself, but there's a lot more mobility than a normal bodybuilding or powerlifting workout. So it's not strictly just like squats, deadlifts, and lunges. Although variations of those things will still be included. Anyways, I'm gonna eat, and then we're gonna go ahead and head out to the garage. All right, we're finally in the garage, getting a workout in. It's about 5 a.m., so we're running a little bit late. 5:08 exactly. So we're gonna go ahead and hit our warm-ups. There's gonna be 3 sets. I'll go through the first set on film, and then the rest of them I'm just gonna do off film. and then we'll show some of the workouts or lifts that I think are super beneficial for running, but also good for strength. Let's get into it. First one's gonna be 20 seconds of body weight squats. Just try to get some blood flow through the legs. And then we're gonna do traveling press up walkouts. 20 seconds of walking lunge. And then 20 seconds of side lunges. All right, so we're gonna do stiff leg deadlifts and then hip drops. Hip drops are super good for people that have issues with their hips when they run. You wanna make sure that that posterior chain is nice and strong. So your back, your hips, glutes, hamstrings, calves. A lot of people have issues with their ankles, knees, and hips. Hip drops are great for that. So we'll get to those after the deadlifts. I know they don't look like a whole lot, but trust me whenever I say that it helps a lot with mobility and kind of just strengthening, like I said, that hip area. You probably don't think about working out your hips very often, and I don't blame you because I did until I started running. Doing 3 sets of those, even if it's not with a specific workout, can make a huge difference. After my first half marathon, I implemented those and I felt like my body just felt fresher. So I'm gonna do my next 2 sets and then we'll get into my next working superset. Our next set is gonna be step downs followed by unilateral calf raises, so single leg calf raises. Calf raises, especially single leg workouts in general, are great for running, primarily because it helps with muscle imbalances. Now the step downs themselves don't seem like a lot, but even though there's not a ton of weight loaded onto the exercise itself, it's kind of a good therapeutic-ish type of exercise to help strengthen those knees. And again, it's unilateral. So let's go ahead and get to that. For our next lifts, we're gonna be doing a superset of some squats and about that 10 to 12 rep range, and then we're gonna be hitting calf raises with dumbbells on the side. I'm gonna keep the dumbbells relatively light just because I'm running out of time and I gotta get to work. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that. We're gonna try to get through these next couple of supersets relatively quick, but we're not gonna sacrifice intensity. Let's get to it. Next, we have a top 3 lift for runners. Maybe not, I don't know, but it's one of my favorites for running. That's a reverse lunge. And then we're gonna be doing some standing marches as well. I don't have the right bands for them, but we're gonna make it work. The next superset is gonna be some single leg deadlifts with a little bit of knee drive at the top of the lift. And then we're gonna do farmer carries. The farmer carries, I'm gonna probably be doing a little bit lighter than I'd like to because I don't have like a dumbbell rack or anything. So I have to use 45-pound plates, but it's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and knock that out. 2 supersets, let's get it. All right, a little bit of post-workout fuel here. We've got some avocado toast, sourdough, of course, and 3 eggs. I don't have enough spinach and mushrooms to get me through the week. Probably won't have enough eggs as well, so kind of just making do with what we have. With that said, I was gonna do my run, but my watch was running low, and it was saying that my heart rate while I was working out was like 160 something. That's definitely not true. I was lifting weights. My heart rate's never been that high lifting weights. I mean, I guess if I did like a circuit or something, it could be, but that wasn't the case. And that'll happen. Your watch will track workouts over the top or under track the workouts from a heart rate perspective if the watch isn't fully charged. So I'm gonna let that thing charge It's about 6:30. Took me a minute to cook, and then also over an hour to finish the workout. So running a little bit behind this morning. Probably should have gotten together a little sooner, but what can you do? Anyways, I'll see you all this afternoon for my run. We're just gonna be hitting a 5K. Pacing is TBD. From work, it is about 5 o'clock. Just kidding. It's about 4:45. I usually work 8 to 4. That's not the point. We got a run to hit, and we're going to be doing a 5K, so I'm going to be running about 3.11 miles. I got to keep that streak alive. Today's going to be 296. We'll be well into the 300s by the time this video comes out. And by that, I mean like a week into it. We're going to go ahead and let this rip, but first let's go ahead and get a little warm-up in. You already know the drill. We're going to roll out a little bit, and then we're going to hit a couple of little maneuvers, just some stretches to kind of get the hamstrings loose, things like that. I was so eager to run, I forgot to show off my equipment. Of course, you got to show off your equipment if you're a running channel. So we're rocking the Evo SLs today. Yesterday I also forgot, but I had the Asics Gel Kayano 32s. Kayano Gel 32s, whatever they're called. Those are like my heavy, nice and slow tempo, just keeping it easy. They're a little bit heavier, but really good support. The Evo SLs I like because you can go a little faster in them, but you can also just take it easy in them as well. They're really versatile. Everything else is pretty standard. This is a dry fit Nike tee, the Adidas hat that I have sweat in a ton, as you can see. Nike shorts, and since they don't have a liner pocket, I use a belt, but it's nothing crazy. It's just a generic belt that I found on Amazon. Now, we're good to go. Workout is complete, run is done. Went pretty well. I'll post the times like right here. Overall, I was sitting around like a 7:40 something, I think. But anyways, drone did die after about a mile and a half, so I had to bring it back to the house, then go back out and run. So you could add a couple seconds per mile if you wanted to, but I'm not that stingy. Again, this wasn't a planned workout, but we knocked it out. Feeling good. Definitely got to take a shower now, but pick it back up tomorrow. It is Wednesday, and we got a 6-mile tempo run, so I'm going to go ahead and get warmed up, and we're going to jump into that. Basically, this run is going to be 1 mile, and it's just going to be a nice warm-up pace. So we're looking at roughly 8:20 to 8:45-ish. I usually end up going a little bit faster, but I'm trying to be better about that. And then once we get into the actual working sets, it'll be 1 mile at 7:40, and then 1 mile at 6:55, and then repeat. And then we'll have a 90-second cool down after that, where I'll finish off with a 1 mile run. So let's go ahead and get to it. Probably won't bring the drone out because if it's not well lit outside, then the drone doesn't fly. So that's not really an option. So we'll be using the phone while we're running. Apologies in advance. I know that footage isn't always the best, but it's what we got. All right, we're gonna do our warm-ups, and I use the Runna app. I don't know if I mentioned that yet in this video, but that's what I'm using for the running piece and all of this, and then the lifts as well. But I had my own lifting program that was going just fine. I just wanted to see what was offered on the app because I'm already paying for it. You can probably tell by my voice, but I'm definitely tired this morning. Don't know why, slept fine, but this morning's one of those days, man, where I wish I kind of felt 100% because I was looking forward to this run, but we're gonna give it my all regardless. My mentality on days like this is always just like, what if this is the one workout that changes everything? So that's enough reason to push through a little bit of soreness. After a bunch of contemplation, decided I'm gonna go with the Adios 4s today. They are carbon plated. Well, not really carbon plated, but carbon rods. So they're nice and bouncy. I don't recommend using carbon plated or carbon soled shoes, whatever, rods, whatever. But I only train in these like once or twice a week, and this would be an example of me training in them twice a week. Usually I would only train in them like once a week. The reason I'm doing it today is because I feel like it'll help propel me forward, if I'm being honest. But also, I do need to break in like actual race day shoes, and these are relatively new, only about 4 weeks old. I've done some long runs in them, but it's good to get in a little extra work, get comfortable in them, And I won't be pushing it like crazy hard today. Outside of those two 6:55 miles, everything else should be pretty simple. So that's the reason I'm using these. I don't recommend it necessarily, but it's what I'm doing.
All right, we're a mile in, and it's a little windy. And the first mile with the working set should be like 7:40. That's gonna be uphill, so it's gonna be a slow mile, but after that, it should be pretty easy. Let's get.
All right, run is complete. We had a lot of things working against us this morning, but we got it knocked out. Let's go ahead and check the numbers. My average pace for this run was about 7:50. My average moving pace was 7:49, but I'm not really sure how that's possible because as far as I know, I didn't stop. So I don't know, maybe it was just like because of the walking portion at the end of mile 5. Because I did stop actually, now that I think of it, for like maybe 5 seconds, just to get my shit together basically. As far as the actual intervals go, let's take a look at that. My goals here were to hit the warm-up pace and then 7:40 on mile 1 or interval 1, because technically mile 1 was the warm-up. Then a 6:50 on the second interval and then repeat. For this though, I did try to taper into those times. So instead of coming out at a 7:40, or instead of coming out at a 6:50 right away because those paces are a little bit faster, I tried to ease into them. However, it looks like the second mile or the second interval that I hit was a 6:57. It's not great, it's a little bit off, a little bit too slow. I gotta work on that. I probably could have gone a little slower on the first interval as well. That probably would have helped, ease into the second interval. I will say though, one thing that is kind of nice, that I feel like I did well on the second interval, was it was mostly uphill for at least like 3/4 of it anyways. So being able to hit that pace, I'm okay with it. The third interval, 6:28, that's fine. And then the last one was 6:48, that's fine too, 6:49, whatever. Nothing special, but it's fine. Looks like for the rest period, my cooldown, all of that's pretty generic. 8:36 to finish off the last mile. So overall, it's not bad. We were dealing with headwinds as well as, the hills. But the thing is, my mentality whenever I'm doing that is like, all right, well, nothing's guaranteed. I could show up on the day of the marathon. I know there's going to be hills. That's not a question. It's a rolling hill course. You can check it out. It's almost 700 feet of elevation gain throughout the entire race. It's not the biggest elevation gain, but it's an elevation gain, and it's definitely rolling hills. You also might show up that day and it could be raining and windy and terrible outside. It doesn't make a difference. So when I'm hitting headwinds or I'm hitting hills, my mentality is just to kind of push through it because it's going to end up passing. All that's doing is making me stronger come race day. So that's my mentality whenever it comes to approaching hills or even workouts that I don't want to do. Like this morning, I woke up, I was sore, I'm tired. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I also forgot to eat something before I left, which isn't great. So there's a lot of reasons that things could have gone wrong, but instead of using those as excuses, I kind of put those to the side and I just try to push forward. And if I didn't do it this morning, then I would have had to do it later on in the day. And I have client calls for Churros tonight, so that's not even an option for me. I have to get it done. I got to put in those rolling hills so that way on race day, I can be better than I am today. Anyways, that's it for my workouts on Wednesdays. I'm going to go ahead and stretch, eat, but I'll see you on Thursday. Happy Thursday. Today we've got our upper body workout as well as 3.75 easy miles, so let's go ahead and get to work. All right, upper body workout, getting ready to go down. First, we're gonna start with our mobility and mechanical movement, and then we're gonna go ahead and step into the actual workout itself. Let's get it. So that's the first warm-up, 4 sets. It takes about a minute, or it takes about 4 minutes for each set. So with us doing 3 sets of these little circuits, it's gonna be a long warm-up. Our next lift is gonna be single arm shoulder presses. We got 5 to 6 reps. It's only 2 sets, so we're gonna take this pretty heavy. That felt pretty good. We're gonna keep it going for another set and then jump into the next set, which will be incline dumbbell press. I'll spend more time adjusting these dumbbells than I do working out, I swear to God. And if you're watching this and you don't lift heavy, just putting it out there. It's a good idea to start, get a little bit stronger. And heavy is relative, so whatever's heavy for you, not necessarily me, but definitely lift heavy if you can. I feel like a lot of upper body movements don't really help with running, but shoulders and back will always help with running just because it's part of your posterior chain and you want healthy, nice, loose shoulders whenever you're running. So we got reverse rear delt flies as well as some of these single arm snatches. The snatches are gonna be pretty light because I don't wanna keep adjusting these dumbbells during the set. So we're just gonna practice the movement, but this is about 25 pounds. The bar has weight to it, just in case you were curious. Anyways, have good, healthy, strong shoulders. Make sure you're hitting rear delts, don't neglect those. Especially a lot of new lifters. They tend to neglect rear delts pretty often, myself included. All right, camera might die, so we're gonna try and move through these pretty quick, but we got single arm bench as well as single arm row. I have the kettlebell behind me, it's 50 pounds. So that'll be good for the row movement once I'm done. Got 2 sets. The next superset is gonna be front delt raises, and then we're gonna do Copenhagen planks. If you don't know what that is, it's basically gonna be using the bench to do a side plank. I'll show you here in a second. We're gonna go ahead and get it started. Workout is complete, my lift is done, and I was gonna do my run after my lift today, but I think instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna eat. I got a long day of work ahead of me, so I'll do the run after work. It'll be a nice little way to blow off steam. It's only 3 3/4 of a mile, easy run. I'll probably be using the Asics, the Gel Kayanos, and then tomorrow we've got hill sprints, so that'll be my big pull. So I'll just keep it nice and easy, nothing crazy. I had an upper body workout today, so hill sprint should feel good tomorrow. And I'm just gonna get ready for work and make sure everything kind of falls into place and my morning is nice and smooth. I know that's not the usual alpha male rah-rah type thing, but sometimes simplicity is the best option, and I feel like people kind of overcomplicate things. If you can work out twice a day, that's great. If you can work out once a day, prioritize. And if it feels better to work out later on in the day, do that. It's not gonna make much of a difference. And given the fact that I work out every day and I throw in 2-a-days, my recovery really isn't gonna be substantial regardless of when I work out. So anyways, I'm gonna eat real quick, but I'll see you all here in just a second, right before my run. All right, we are back from work. It was a better day than I thought it was gonna be. Sometimes I work things up in my head and they don't end up as bad as they need to be, or they don't end up as bad as I think they're gonna be. With that said, feeling pretty good. We're gonna get a nice little run in. 3.75 miles, nothing crazy. We'll see how the times end up being, but I'm feeling good. I'm gonna roll out again. I did it this morning, but I'm gonna do it again just because I enjoy the ritual. And then I'm gonna warm up, and then I'll go ahead and go for the run. I'll spare you all the warm up, just because I don't think that's as entertaining, and it's basically the same one that I did on Monday. But I'll see you all on my run here in just a minute. All right, about 3/4 of a mile in. Started off a little too fast. So, trying to cool down a little, but
so far, it's a beautiful day. We're gonna keep it going. That run was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Came out a little bit too hot initially, and then the wind is at about 17 miles an hour today, which isn't too crazy, if I'm being honest. Like, it's pretty average, but also right now in Colorado, there's a bunch of smoke coming through, Denver in particular. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but it just felt off. Like, it was hard to breathe and keep my breath going or even control it. But that could also just be me coming out so fast and making excuses like a little bitch. So, I don't know. Maybe it was on me. It's over. Done with. About an 8-minute mile. It's over here. And we got hill sprints tomorrow. I have a love-hate relationship with hill sprints. They suck when you're doing them. They feel great to be done with. And I feel like that's one of those workouts where you just feel like really accomplishing something. I'm going to try to take my drone out tomorrow for that one. It's going to be in the morning, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it'd be cool to get some sprinting up the hill. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I got to always try. Anyways, I'm done yapping. I'm going to go ahead and eat, stretch, shower, all that good stuff. I'll see you on Friday. It's Friday, and today we're going to be doing some hill sprints. I was supposed to do this in the morning. You know that because you just watched me say that like 2 seconds ago. But I ended up kind of just chilling this morning. Felt like I needed a little bit of recovery. So kind of kept it cool, feeling fresh. And fortunately, I'm able to work from home for the second half of the day. So I just got back home from the office. I'm going to take a little midday break and hit some hill sprints. So let's get Workout is complete. Today's workout again was alternating hill sprints. So basically what started was I did 1.25 miles just to warm up. Then I would go down to the bottom of the hill, sprint for 1 minute. Then I had 30 seconds to recover, jog down to the bottom of the hill. And then I would do a sprint for 30 seconds, come back down to the bottom of the hill, and then I would repeat. Usually I average around the 5:30s for each sprint. Today we got a little bit faster. So for the first minute, I was averaging a smooth 5:24, and then I would do my rest, my recovery, and my second, which was the 30 seconds, was about a 5:22. Technically, that's one full set, but if you're looking at the way that my watch tracked it, it just tracked it as 10 different sets. So for my second 1 minute, I hit a 5:29 average, and then for my second 30-second sprint, it was a 5:28. For my third sprint, we did a 5:35 at 1 minute, and then a 5:23 at 30 seconds. My fourth one was when it started to really catch up to me. I started getting a little cramp, like right down here at the bottom of my rib cage. So these are a little bit slower of times. This was my fourth minute, and I was averaging about a 5:37 mile time. And then at the 30-second mark, it was even worse at a 5:41. It took about 2 minutes to cool down. Needed to reset. Once I got to that, I ended up running my last minute. So this was set 5 at a 5:32 pace. And then my fastest time of the day was a 5:12 pace for 30 seconds at the 10th interval. Overall, I'm really happy with that. It's the fastest I've ever run that hill sprint. Felt really smooth the first set, like really good, really smooth. And I feel like if I can bring that effort to the marathon, because it is some rolling hills, I'll probably kill it. It also is a confidence booster. I think sometimes I don't realize how much faster I've gotten, and being 5 seconds faster on something like a hill sprint is huge. So definitely feeling good about that. We are done with our workouts for the day, but tomorrow we're gonna be doing some trail runs and a full body workout, so let's get that.
Welcome to my Saturday routine. Today we're doing a trail run. It's actually been a while since I've done a trail run, a couple weeks now, but trying to get back into it every Saturday. Today we've got 9.5 miles. It's supposed to be a harder trail. I've never done it before, so we'll see. The estimated elevation is over 2,000 feet. I think it was like 2,100. I don't have service out here, so yeah, it's 2,126. This time I actually have all trails going, so I shouldn't get lost, but we'll see. Anyways, it's gonna be a hard one. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous, but we'll be all right. I'm gonna get warmed up. I'll spare you the warm up and just kind of get right into the trail running. Let's get to it.
Alright, we finally got through the first couple miles. It was brutal, it was really uphill, but we're kind of leveled out now. So the next couple miles should be more back to business. So overall, it's fun, it's hard. And I gotta get my way around here so I don't get lost. Alright, we got about halfway through the trail now, and I'm supposed to be going down this way, but it's closed off. So it looks like there's a cut through over here. We're gonna hit that. I'm probably gonna eat a little snack and then get back to running. I took a wrong turn like a mile ago. So we got around a mile back at least. And I don't want to hit the trail again. It's a bit of a disaster. So I'm gonna be out here for a minute. I'm not with Hannah, so I tried to send texts, but I don't know if she's gonna receive them. Yeah, that's where we're at. All right.
All right, we just got done with the trail run. Turned a 9.5 mile run into like 11.5 miles. It wasn't great. A lot of scrambles on this, which I didn't realize, and my times overall were pretty slow. It's been a while since I have done a trail run, so I guess I should be like a little bit graceful, but it's pretty fun. So, and I can't even look up the times right now because I have no service. But I'm probably average somewhere between like, I don't know, 13 and 15 minutes a mile. Some of those miles were like 20-minute miles because I had to climb uphill and then deal with like scrambles, and then I got off trail. So definitely a disappointing workout. Not too happy with the way that I performed. It was so bad, my watch went down to VO2 max points. That's everything to a runner. So, ate shit one time, fucked up my hand a little bit, was bleeding. It's kind of nice though, because I did forget lube to click the holes in, so it's fine. Anyways, I'm gonna go home and eat. Still got a lift for the day, so we can still turn it around. That's all for now. We're back in the dungeon today. We've got a full body workout, and I'm just gonna skip the warm-ups on film. I'm gonna do the warm-ups themselves, but I don't really think you all care to see those. Should be pretty quick outside of the warm-ups. The warm-ups will be the longest part because it's 3 sets, but everything else is 2 supersets. I think it's like 4 or 5 total sets. So we'll see how it works out, but I'll make sure to at least get 1 set of each superset. Let's go. Okay, our first set of working sets really is going to be single leg squat or pistol squat, whatever you want to call it, and pull-ups, but it's only 5 to 6 reps, which is why I have the weighted vest on, because I want to make sure that I'm practicing that progressive overload. The vest is about 30 pounds. Definitely overestimated my ability to squat right now. I don't know if it was from the run or what, but those pistol squats sucked. So I'll probably do the next set without the vest on and then do the vest on for the pull-ups. But overall, 2 sets, simple enough. The next superset here is gonna be kettlebell swings and then walking heel raises. So kind of like a calf raise walk. I'll show you here in a second. We're gonna knock this out. It's relatively heavy. I only have a 50-pound dumbbell, but 5 to 6 reps. Next set is gonna be tricep dips as well as some dumbbell cleans. It's gonna be like hang cleans, not presses. Next up, we've got regular barbell hip thrusts, and then we're gonna be doing single leg dumbbell calf raises with a slight bend in our knee. It's another 8 to 10 rep set, 2 sets. Let's get it. There you have it. Last workout of the week, as far as lifts go anyways. And that's gonna be it. I do have some core stuff that I'm gonna work on, but that'll probably be tomorrow, just because I usually do core and stability training on Sundays after my long run. So that wraps Saturday. Tomorrow, let's finish strong. It is Sunday morning. We are getting ready to go for our weekly long run. Today's run's gonna be a half marathon, 13.1 miles. So I'm warming up right now. And then I'll probably grab some fuel, some gels, whatever. And we'll go ahead and hit it. Should be pretty easy. All right. After about 2 minutes, I'll be getting ready. See y'all in just a second.
About 3 miles in, I started off pretty fast, but starting to settle down. It's like an 8-minute mile. Feeling pretty good. It's definitely hot out, so I expect the tarp to come off here soon. But overall, perfect day.
All right, my run for the day is done. That's the last run of the week, and I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty rough. At first, it was easy to kind of just go fast because of the shoes. They're just fast shoes, a lot of fun. No real issues there, but by like mile 5, the wind started to pick up by like 20 miles an hour, maybe a little heavier. And it was consistent up until like mile 12. So it was pretty hard to run, even like an easy pace, like, I don't know, a 9-minute mile started to really feel difficult. Granted, the times weren't bad, but the extra effort was there to hit like an 8:12 mile time. So not the best day, but certainly not the worst. Could be a lot worse. Anyways, I'm gonna eat something and then we're gonna hit the final workout for the week, which is gonna be my core and stability workout. And probably the one that I'm least familiar with, but something I've been doing here lately. So I'll see you all here in just a second. Final workout of the week, baby. We got a stretch and stability session, which also works out your core. To be honest, I don't know how well these clips are gonna come out because a lot of it is just me laying down. And I probably won't move or even really get a chance to move the tripod that much, but we'll try to make it happen. Either way, stretching, mobility, all of that good stuff is super important. I do it before and after runs, but this is a nice dedicated workout, only 25 minutes. The stretching, stability movements, and trying to just get that much better, increase my core strength along with my actual workouts, and overall become a better runner, because right now, that's my goal, is to become a better runner for the upcoming marathon and ultra in September.
Keep the chest upright. Bring the arm out and reach back. Feels elevated, slowly working on here as they connect to the floor. And then drag the heels up. 1, 2, 6, 7.
All right, just like that, full week of training in the books. We did 10 total workouts, with 7 coming from runs, 3 lifts, and if you include the stretching and stability, we can even include that as an 11th. We're gonna be going into Colfax with a nice foundation. Right now, my goal is to sit somewhere between like just a sub 315. So I want to hit a 720 mile for every single mile at a very minimum, or at least average that. And I'm feeling pretty good, slowly ramping up the mileage every single week. Even with the deloads worked in, I've been, staying pretty consistent with upping the mileage outside of those deloads. I'm really trying to utilize heavier strength days whenever I'm doing deloads since I'm not running as much. And as you can see, I think it's pretty sustainable, at least for a training block. Overall, it's probably somewhere between like 12 and 15 extra hours a week just dedicated to working out, which for some of you might be a lot, but when it comes to an actual training block, I think is pretty reasonable considering the fact that some people do like 20 hours a week. But right now I'm feeling good. We're 8 weeks out from my first marathon, and I'm ready to crush it. If you enjoyed today's content, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And of course, if you're looking for accountability coaching, whether it's for weight loss, strength gain, whatever the situation might be, feel free to click the link down in the bio. I have a company called Taurus Fitness, and you can buy programs on there or just do one-on-one consultations for free with me. That's about it for today's video, but don't go anywhere. This video right here was recommended by the YouTube algorithm just for you.